Okay. Yeah, welcome to Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic, which was founded by me, Christopher Luna, in 2004. Since around 2007, Toni Partington, now Toni Lumbrazo Luna, has been my co-host, and we recently took on Morgan Paige as a co-host as well. She should be in the meeting pretty soon. We have as our guests tonight Brad Garber and Gina Williams. They'll be our featured readers later on. We have a few more of our readers coming in at the moment. And here comes Morgan. So let's say a quick hello to Benny and to Morgan. Welcome. Let me see, am I missing anybody? Morgan, you want to come on and say a quick hello since you're just coming in now?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm so glad to see your faces, and thanks for joining and finding some poetry and joy amidst all of the chaos. And happy birthday to you, Christopher Luna. I love you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. There's Moira as well. Welcome, Moira. Glad you're here. Moira of Gobshite Quarterly, and Joanne Boswell is with us. Welcome. So we've got a nice group of readers. We're going to hear from about 6 of our open mic readers before we go to our featured readers. But one of the things that I wanted to mention before we start with our reading is that recently our friends, the Lorangers, who've been a part of this reading since the very beginning, lost their family home to a fire. They're out on the gorge on the Washington side. It's a place that they've been and have been like building, on this sort of dream home for many years. And so we've asked people who are able to make a donation. We usually ask for a $5 suggested donation for the series to, instead of sending it to us, to send that or whatever amount they can to the Lorangers GoFundMe. And I'm putting into the chat now the information there, which was also in the announcement, but it includes the GoFundMe link if you are able to help them out. And Lori has told me that they've been really given a lot of great help, and were given help immediately as soon as this thing happened by their community. So they're being well taken care of. They're all okay. They have a place to stay. They have food and clothes and all of that. But their plan is to rebuild the house, and that's what this GoFundMe is about, to rebuild the house on the land that the original house was on. So just wanted to mention that, and our hearts go out to the Lorangers, and I'm hoping that the Ghost Town poetry community can come together on this and help them as much as they can. And one way that you can help, even if you can't donate something to the GoFundMe, is to spread that link around, share it with people that and these things are exponential after a while. More people will see it if you're willing to share it. So I would like to read a poem to start things off, and then I'll introduce our first open mic reader for the evening. This is a poem that I actually wrote a few years ago, but I'm thinking about our friends who are, in danger or worried about these fires, and also thinking about the asshole climate change deniers. So that's what this poem was sort of inspired by. This is not the air we were promised. This land is no longer your land. Our heritage, a wildfire that refuses containment, like an enraged mob with a blind need to subsume everything in its path. Even world afire cannot interrupt our conspicuous consumption. Ash falls from the sky like slow-mo dream snowflakes, drifting slowly earthward to cover the cars, the trees, and the children. Staggering to ponder the fortitude required to stave off such utter destruction. Breathing freely becomes a challenge, the air cloaked in a haze thick enough to prevent the sunlight from reaching us. Still, our response is to deny, deny, deny. So yeah, so I'm still mad, and I'm mad now that when I take the dog out to pee, that I have to worry that I'm not going to be able to, that it's going to affect my lungs somehow. And yeah, I'm mad about all of it. And I hope everybody that is on this, you know, remain safe. And I hope that nobody has to leave. But obviously, if you need to leave, get the fuck out if that happens, you know, just go. Don't worry about us. Okay, so our first open mic reader for Ghost Town tonight is Ian Caton. Welcome, Ian.
Hey, what's happening? I got just one poem I'm going to read tonight. Respect to everybody's. Your mom's, hold on a second. She's at work, I think. My wife's at work. I can't work. If I work, I'm going to lose my unemployment benefits. So I'm just hanging out at the house. All right, here it is, my poem. It's called A New Mythology. What is unsettling is the sudden awareness. A walking on eggshells, this sudden trepidation is unsettling. Bringing a disease to our loved ones, or the fear of it. The fear of electricity no longer working, or of food not being available at the grocery store. Fear of disease and death. Fear of living with someone with cancer. Fear of getting cancer yourself. What is that type of fear called? Knowing that white is not a culture, but an erasure of culture. Is it the absence of color, as with paint, or the accumulation of all colors, such as with spectrums of light? Fear the post office won't send your mail. Fear of the dollar losing all value. I think I'm onto something here, aren't I? Or that it wasn't American ingenuity that built this country, but maybe something far more wicked and unsettling. All of mythology tells us so. Thank you.
Yeah.
The applause. What? Yes, bring it.
Woo! Ian. That was, yeah. Love that.
Thank you, Ian. And next we're going to hear from Benny Chamomile. You here, Benny?
Hey, boss. Give me a moment to load up the piece. I apologize. I didn't realize I'd be next.
No worries.
Yeah, so I kind of did a lazy thing. I have a backlog of poems I've been writing over the last 6 months. But of all the poems that I want to read, it's the one I actually wrote to you, Luna, when I was RSVPing for this event. So give me a brief moment here.
Hey, it's the 21st century and it's a global pandemic. I think we can give you a moment.
This is my first Zoom chat.
Hopefully not too long a moment, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, it's one of those things like you told me one poem and I reminded you that the Iliad was a poem. So, yes. But then you spoke by 3 minutes and then that brought me back down to earth. Okie dokie. And I saw the invitation to a ghost town, and for a moment I hesitated for fear. Not of the work, or of the recitation of the work, for I have been working, but rather the fact that I'm missing angst. I like streets best when they're empty. I like streets best silent, so I can break the silence myself, for I have been playing. In the night when the streets are empty, I walk down the center of the middle of the yellow parallel, fearless for memories of when it was the streets and their streets and my streets and our streets and once again, my streets. Those days of ours are ended. I go walking after, before, and during, and after midnight when the streets are empty to play. The city becomes an opera house, and I bellow with gravitas and obscenity, lyrics into the air, waking vagrants and rousting the hobo from dreams. Every song I've ever wrote was written for you, I confide to them. But now that you're gone, I sing them to the moon. They never reply, for they are the work, the love, and the eulogy. I hesitate for fear to enter and therefore break the peace because of the constraints. I hesitate for fear, for a perfect world would have but veiled mirrors. For a misunderstood narcissist wasn't obsessed with himself, he hated himself, wrapped by the waterside. The rest Zoom their loneliness away, the play of Zoom, the productive Zoom. I never Zoom. I liked it best when the mirror is empty. I liked it best when the room is silent because I like to break the silence.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, Barry. Beautiful.
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you so much.
You guys.
Yeah, and I hope that you will come again. It is different from the in-person, but we're keeping it going because it's important to keep these things going, you know? All right, next we're going to hear from Bruce Hall. Thanks for being here. And Bruce, do you want to tell us anything about what's happening where you're at? Are things safe there, or do you need to worry about these fires that we're hearing so much about?
Oh, I live in town and it's all irrigated green grass around. It's not going to get in here, but up north, they had some pretty scary stuff. They had fires that went 70 miles in 10 hours or less and burnt towns down. And sky's kind of dirty and supposed to get a lot dirtier, but that's okay.
So you're in Kennewick, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Is that where you are right now? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that you and other people up there are doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for being here. Looking forward to hearing your poem.
Yeah. I wrote this at Christopher's last writing workshop, which there's one coming up Saturday. I want to write a poem. I want to write a poem, an epic poem with big words. Big words will make Mr. Luna reach for his smartphone to look them up. Haha, Mr. Luna, the joke's on you. Unless Alexa has a slang east slope of the Blue Mountains with the Olive Lake dialect, you'll never find that big word. Crawdadderiddy humbunger slip. I want to write a poem that will make all the politicians confess their sins and to show they are repentant, resigning to a life of poverty and peanut butter and dill pickle sandwiches on rye. I want to write a poem so I can win the West Coast All-Star Challenge without ever showing up. Osmosis, thoughts of parsley, parsnip, and flying wombats with super soakers filled with red jello. I want to write a poem that flows off the page, making the ground spring muddy, putting out the forest fires that don't burn in forests at all, but in deserts where bitter brush that torches like gasoline. I want to write a poem that provides heat, peel the paint off the car heat, smolders, like the longing look of Hedy Lamarr when she invented spread spectrum radio, AKA cell phones and Bluetooth, and made Adolf park his submarines. I want to write a poem about Cowboy Jack music, winning the all-around at Ellensburg, that trophy buckle so big it took 3 mules to make a belt to hold it. I want to write a poem that gets finger snaps, wolf howls, and belly laughs for 30 minutes after I'm done reading. Change that until the next morning, or afternoon, or after the weekend bender. I want to write a poem that makes everyone who hears it stop, think, and think some more. Think so much their head swells, thinking the poem is about them. Till the last line mentions Mr. Luna and Ghost Town Poetry and Angst Gallery and Niche next door, the best damn wine shop in the Northwest. Hold that, in the world, where I always drink a great beer. Thank you.
Love that, Bruce.
Bruce,
Thank you, Bruce.
fabulous.
I'm sure that that Leah would appreciate that. And whatever happens with Ghost Town in the future, wherever we may end up when we need to find a new in-person venue, I think that Leah will be involved because, you know, Leah is a major partner in all of the things that we do in the community. So I know that she will be involved in some way, even though the gallery is not there anymore. We're very sad about that. It's going to be a big hole in our arts community for sure. I'm going to hand things over now for the next few readers to Toni, and what I'm going to do so there's no more surprises like Benny had to deal with is I'll put in the chat, you know, who the next few readers will be so those people sort of know, have a heads up for when they're coming. But take it away, Toni.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can. All right. Thanks. Fabulous. I'm really enjoying tonight. This is great. And I want to thank Ian and Benny and Bruce for launching us, getting us going. And also to really thank Gina and Brad for being with us tonight. Thank you both. I'm excited. This is great. I feel like it's been longer than a month since we've been together, but I know it hasn't. So, but it's just, I guess that because we're all sort of in this strange zone, whatever it is, things feel slower to me. Feels like life has really just slowed down sort of to a crawl. And maybe that's good. I've been trying to reflect on the fact that maybe we all need to slow down a little bit anyway. So maybe this is a good thing to have us sort of take extra breaths and say, okay, and take a few more minutes to do things. So, so anyway, welcome to Brad and Gina, and to everyone who's out there that I can see some of your faces, and I know there are more of you out there that I can't see in those little squares right now. So anyway, having said that, I'm going to start with one of my poems, and then I'm going to introduce our next readers. This first one is, well, I'm just going to read one, and it's called I Don't See Dead People. So did I steal the title? Sort of, kind of. We almost died last night. I saw it coming. I'm not much for premonitions, psychics, or soothsayers. I reject fortune tellers, crystal balls, tarot. It's the fortune cookies that get me. All my lovers ate Chinese food. I requested we make love before reading our fortunes. I said that everything tastes better with soy sauce. I am easily romanced. Chinese takeout, eye contact, bottle of red, rhythm and blues, and playing footsies. I can predict what's next, and I'm always right. But this, we wait at the stoplight. My mind's eye sees us. A crash. I look in the passenger side mirror for a car behind us. It's there, careening, out of control, no room to move. We're gonna get hit. Screeching brakes, here he comes, slides, skids, stops, less than inches to spare, and I can't breathe. What does it mean? Who from the other side protects us? How did I know it would happen? Divine intervention, fairy dust, guesswork. I never know what to wish for when the candles are blown, but this, when we were laughing and singing to rock and roll, and the light turns green and we roll up the road, no flames, no blood loss, no broken bones, I'm forced to consider that I might know it before it happens. See, I don't see dead people. I'm not special. Sometimes I just feel danger. And for now, I'll pay attention, and that is enough. Thank you.
Wow, Toni. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next reader this evening, Carolyn Adams. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi.
Good to see you.
I see you too.
Are you all ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay. So This poem is was written for a friend of mine who passed away in the 1980s from AIDS before medication could have kept him alive. So this is for Stephen Reitner. A star for Stephen. When you closed your eyes for the last time, was it a fluttering like pages turning in a book, like a feather drifting? Or did you implode like a supernova in the night sky? We still crowd here, Stephen, gathering bits of lint in multicolored dust. We still drape streetlights and neon on this planet, this garden, like cheap Christmas lights on a plastic tree. And now, years after your death, I see a star in the west, and I imagine you in the heart of that brightness. A child points skyward beside a woman in a billowing skirt. They've found your star, Stephen, your jewel, your name, the place where I think you live now. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Very
Very much.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You're muted,
Hang
Toni.
on, I was muted there, sorry.
Happens to
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, Carolyn, I appreciate it. We're going to hear from Jim Martin. Hello, Jim. Mr. Martin, are you with us? I'm not seeing Jim.
Okay,
Oh, there you are, Jim. Hi.
I
Are
was
you-
hiding in them for
Are you all set?
up here.
You're breaking up just a little. Okay.
Oh,
Could you do a test for me, like count to 3 or something?
1, 2, 3.
Chris, did you get that?
It was working before.
Yeah, well, I got most of it. It is a little bit clipped right now.
There's a lag
Okay,
to it a
can
little
you
bit.
hear it now?
There's a suggestion from Ian that you turn off the camera view.
Oh, okay. I can.
And
I'll
let's see
get
if-
back over where that is.
Let's see if that helps.
There's camera. Off. Okay, and then back to internet. Stupid thing.
We're hearing you pretty clearly right now, Jim. So you might want to try.
Are you?
Yeah.
you
Okay,
might-
I'll tell you what. I'll read now. Then later on, I'll get back into it to bring camera
Yeah.
up
Yeah, that's clear right now, Jim.
because I've taken the camera off. You can hear? Okay. I'm really interested for a long time, about 60 years, in who humans are and why. And I read an interesting article in the Smithsonian magazine about a woman named Sue Savage Rumbaugh, who worked with bonobos, chimpanzees, who live on the east side of Africa. And she had a little anecdote. It'll only take 30 seconds to say. A man came to visit the place where the bonobos were living, and one bonobo came up to him and made sign said he wanted to play chase. And so they played chase with him, and they came back. The man went over to where the grape juice was for the bonobos drink, little kids to drink grape juice, and he picked one up and threw it to the bonobo that he chased with. And the bonobo went up to a meme board that has 300 memes for particular words in English, and hit thank you. And he said, "Oh my God, he understands." And so this is what I'm writing. Con is one of the bonus there, and Conzi and I are related. We're cousins. My relationship to Australopithecus, one of the original hominids, is a direct relationship. So it doesn't have a tie-up, but it'll be something like sitting for a moment with Australopithecus. Sitting with Conzi and said, "You seem familiar. Someone I should know, but my inherited bias says no, we are not the same. Okay, my body is hairy, but we do seem familiar, comfortably similar, like a collar and a shaped sheepdog. How could this be? I'm confused. You're the other side of the family. True, but our brains are equivalent, work in similar ways. Was this an emergent effect of my line moving to the savannah? Might we, yes, you and I, be able to pass a thought one to the other, engage in life as distant relatives, and further become close friends?" And that's it.
Beautiful, Jim.
It did come through.
Yes, much more clearly.
Yep,
Okay.
Yeah, it was great, Jim. Thank you.
that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jim.
And thank you guys.
Is Gary Anderson? Are you?
I am here.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty darn good.
Good. Good to see you.
Thank
Are
you.
you all set and ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I'll turn it over to you.
I'm always ready. You can call me
All right.
to read poetry. A little commercial here. I just finished and published my third book of poetry called Sky Fixer. It's on Amazon. If you want to just go out and have a look, there's quite a bit of information there.
Can you say the name again, please?
Sky Fixer, SKYFIXER.
Okay.
And what I want to read tonight is just something I'm doing for fun. Another poet writer, Lisa Jones, I sat in on a conference of hers, and she was showing us some poetic devices. And one that I really liked was writing a poem with the "Where I'm From," and I'm sure some of you others have used that device as well. One thing she said that really caught my attention says, "It does not matter if you live it or read it, if you use a description of the five senses in your writing. The brain does not know the difference."
Oh.
So here we go. So this is a proper introduction. I read last time we were together, but this is an introduction. I am from water, where salt meets fresh, marsh mint and warm mud, wetlands and wood. I am from skunk cabbage, signal of spring, gray leafless alder, long winter rain. I am from family violence, taking more rounds at home than in war, breaking glass and put down the knife in late hour darkness. I am from canned blackberries, crocks of cabbage fading to sauerkraut, unleavened bread, unsalted butter. I am from blood of butchered animals, cattle, deer, elk, liver and onions, wood stove, cast iron fry pan. I am from nature, horizontal, not vertical, no dominion over, taking my place between grass and boulder. I am from ancestors, music and language frozen in time from the moment they stepped from boats, while culture in the old country moved on. I am from the last whistle of the last train, hauling the last logs, trailed by an empty caboose. Thank you.
All right.
Great
Oh.
images.
Thank you. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much, Gary. That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and I noticed that Sean just put the link to Gary's book in the chat.
Oh,
So if you're interested,
right.
you can click on that. And I am now very happy to introduce our featured readers. We're really happy to have our friends Brad Garber and Gina Williams here. I'm going to read their bios for you quickly, and then we'll hear some poetry from them. Brad Garber has degrees in biology, chemistry, and law. He writes, paints, draws, photographs, hunts for mushrooms and snakes in the Great Northwest. Since 1991, he has published poetry, magazine articles, essays, and weird stuff in publications including Edge Literary Journal, Pure Slush, On the Rusk Literary Journal, Sugar Mule, Third Wednesday, Barrow Street, Black Fox Literary Magazine, Barzakh Magazine, 521, Ginosko Journal, Vine Leaves Press, Riverfeet Press, Smoky Blue Literary Magazine, and Aji Magazine. He was nominated for the Pushcart Prize in 2011, 2013, and 2018. Gina Williams is a journalist, photographer, former firefighter, and gardener. She's a Pacific Northwest native and can be found rambling in the Oregon Outback, volunteering at the community garden, or on assignment in a far-flung location. She lives and creates near Portland. Her full-length collection of poetry, An Unwavering Horizon, was published by Finishing Line Press this year, and shortly I'll put a link so that you could order that if you want into the chat. Williams is a Pushcart Prize nominee for poetry and founder of Plein Air Poetry Northwest, a nonprofit supporting literary arts and environmental activism, and you can find out more at GinaMarieWilliams.com. Please say hello and give a warm Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic welcome to Brad and Gina. We're so
Yay! Woo!
Nice to see all you guys. Thank you very much. Well, she's going to go first because she's the published author. So I'm going to let her read some stuff first, and then I'll
Okay.
drip some stuff in here from every once in a while.
Thank you so much, Chris and Toni and everyone at Ghost Town. We really appreciate it. And hi to everybody out there. Hope you're all doing okay during these strange times. I'm going to read a few poems from my book, An Unwavering Horizon, and then a new one. So I will start with, this one is called Cracking the Lens. Just before dawn, flannel-shirted fishermen hustle on the docks, filling their tanks with diesel and coffee. An Arctic loon ripples the glassy water with a silent dive. Halyards clang like Tibetan chimes. Fog blows in, erasing the horizon, swallowing the marina whole, leaving ghosts to wander the pier, or hollow boots knocking thin rhythms against ancient planks. A rough-bearded man in an orange watch cap glides by, standing upright on a rusted bicycle with no seat. If you take a photo of me, you'll crack the lens, he shouts in my direction, then flips a wheelie and disappears behind the crab shack. Laughter spilling out onto the deserted street like spawning gravel. I linger at the water's edge, fishing for ruined light, a stranger to tides and old ways, as tie ropes are flung and boats chug toward deep water, the hour of the pearl slipping beneath the waves.
Beautiful.
Okay, I don't know if we're going to go back and forth? How's the thing? How do you want it to work here, Christopher?
Do you want us to go back and forth?
Back
or
and
just
forth, or what?
go
What
one
do you do?
at a time?
I think whatever the two of you think would be was the most fun for you. I think either way would be okay. What are you comfortable with, Brad?
Go for it, Brad.
I'm gonna read a love poem.
Sounds good.
Gotta do a love poem. It's called Reuniting the Kimonos. When we met, we did not know of the kimonos we owned, now hanging on the bedroom wall. In morning light, a breath-soft breeze moving through old silk. When we met, we did not know of the old typewriters we carried, weighted down with ancient words, all steel and cast iron and ribbons, all poems and stories and letters. When we met, we did not know of the passion of our essays, how we wrote of animals, sex, mountains, and the beauty of light bending through old forests. When we met, we did not know that we would press our skins together each morning like silk, fluttering in subtle heartbeats, kimonos hanging on a blank wall. That's my love poem.
That was beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Well, now I have to read a love poem.
Nah, she's got to leave her.
So nice.
Okay, let's do love
You
poem.
go, Gina.
Spread the love.
This is called Recipe for Man. I once created a man out of thin air. I began with a fistful of light caught as it streamed through canvas tent walls, and a lungful of the warm berry smell of pine needle duff inhaled on that perfect summer morning. I was only 8 then, but I saved the light in the penny pocket of my ripped blue jeans, kept the pine-scented air in the filaments of my hair. A fire-scorched walking stick carved of maple became the man's bones. The sound of an owl hooting into the black soul of midnight became his voice. With my mother's spinning wheel, I made tendons and veins, wove miles and miles of thick, greasy strands to give his body grace and strength. The curve of time and a twist of fate saved in a cigar box beneath a quilt in the corner of a cedar hope chest became his heart. For years and years, I collected bits and scraps of found things, the poetry of things, like birds' nests and old marbles, the way aspen leaves flutter, the glint of a salmon as it rises, a firstborn's hand against her father's cheek, a letter home, the soft leather of old track shoes, smell of bread baking, white crust of salt on the collar of a hickory shirt after a day splitting wood. These things became the man's strength and spirit. I waited patiently for 100,000 centuries, anticipating the perfect moment. Finally, on a brilliant May afternoon, while hiking in the mountains, I suddenly saw him there in the rocks. The idea of him shimmered in the sun, etched against the basalt. I positioned my crystal lens just so, unleashed the light from my pocket, and breathed him alive. A perfectly imperfect sculpture of stone and bone and blood and the poetry of things, just as I imagined he would be.
Oh,
Aw.
oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
We like each other.
Yeah. Nothing quite like poets in love, you know?
I know, isn't it great? Like, it reminds me of the song "Lawyers in Love," but it's not quite the same thing.
No. It's not the same at all.
Well, so anyway, the next one, we have a little granddaughter. She's like, what, 2.5 or something like that?
Mhm.
And so that's what this is about, because our house, if you haven't seen it, you kind of saw the painting behind here, but our house is filled with
Weird shit.
just crap. It's like bones and rocks and feathers and whatever,
Yes.
So anyway, this is called Tooth and Bone. My granddaughter of 20 months is fascinated by teeth and bones, support and nourishment, the holes where nerves traveled. She carries skulls through the house, trying to pronounce the words coyote and horse. Her hands curled around brain cases and legs. Her fingers run along sharpened edges of skeletons, smooth joints that remains, or what remains of curious creatures alien to her as surely I must be. Perhaps she sees me in these things, old, bleached, with sharp teeth, a belly smooth as a knee joint, feeding her eggs and cheese, looking together at photos of bees and water.
Oh,
That's gorgeous. That's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for spreading beauty and love tonight.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh.
So I don't know how much time we got. We were gonna bounce back and forth for what, 10 minutes or what do we got?
yeah,
Couple more each.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
Well,
okay, couple more.
I don't want to end on a down note, so I'm going to do a down note right now, but I'm working on a new series. I'm tentatively titled it, it's the Numbers series. I don't have a full title yet, but it's all about the horrors and the difficulties of societies that assign numbers to human beings, whether it be a Nazi tattoo number or a incarceration number, a immigration number, miles of pipeline numbers, sharecropper ledger numbers, things like that. So this one is titled A203665141. And the epigraph is, he was found unresponsive this morning during a welfare check. U.S. Border Patrol press release confirming the flu death of Carlos Gregorio Hernandez Vasquez, a 16-year-old Guatemalan migrant while in custody. As a child, Carlos Gregorio Hernandez Vasquez and his friends made up a game they'd play in their quiet Mayan village, Journey to the U.S. They'd race to jump a fence across an imaginary border, dust plumed around bare feet, make believe escape to a better life. Carlos always wanted to be the one who makes it over the wall first, an act of heroism. The kids used guava leaves as pretend currency to send back home for food, medicine, shoes. One day, Carlos steps into the game, hitches on buses, walks 1,038 miles toward the promised land, crosses the Rio Grande. Rounded up is the official term, separated from his big sister, unable to call his older brother, guava leaves worthless. America gives him a sandwich, he is too sick to eat, and a number. That is all.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I'll start off with one a little bit downer too, and then I'll end with something a little bit better.
Okay.
I think I have to look this over, but anyway, but this one is called and then the bees. Today the seedless apple blossoms fell to ground, brittle leaves were underfoot in a heated wind, and pollen flew where it wished to fly, neither on wings of purpose nor to waiting destinations. Wilting flowers bent to earth as if in prayer, rootstocks crackling beneath a stagnant sun, banks of dust clouds building over distant fields, bereft of birdsong or the symphony of life. Waves of pesticides, herbicides, broken carapaces blew through thinning oxygen like thick smoke, diseases looking for absent hosts and settling on piles of whitening bones stripped of flesh. We watched them go, the bees, those that danced, sensing the magnets of the universe, creating environmental paintings of life, their demise a slow wilting of the life of a slowly turning planet.
Yes.
We raise mason bees. Every year. You gotta do it. Get the bees out there, man.
Mm.
But
That's
Gina,
great.
I think I'm asking something, or well, wait till you're last. You should be last. You should be the crowning glory here.
No, I shouldn't.
Yes, you should. Okay. So I'm going to do one more, and then it's Gina. She's the published author. She's the one who we need to look at. Okay. So here's the one that I call Child Sitting in the Time of Child Sitting. Child hyphen sitting. I should have put a hyphen in there. Child Sitting in the Time of Pandemic.
He's an amazing grandpa, by the way.
About pull-ups and boiled eggs, Barbie's pink bus over and over, Pikachu on the prowl, inside, outside, spraying the air plant, feeding ducks and squirrels, puffs and fizzy tea and cheddar, goldfish, bath time, more tea, inside, outside, spraying windows, reading, quote, possum come a-knockin', end quote, more of Barbie's pink bus, bread thick with butter, chapstick, grandma's typewriter, books, grandpa's typewriter, pictures, maybe a nap, more tea, mouse riding on the model car, bee, let's watch the squirrel, spraying the bicycles, lettuce, where's grandma? Working, yogurt and blueberries, yum, maybe a nap, Gatorade, out of tea, and goldfish, and art paper, pink marker running out of ink. That.
Oh, yay!
Hey, Grandpa!
Yes!
So cute.
That was my day with my grandchild. It was like a BB in a box, man. It never stopped. It was incredible. But
I love it.
But I persevered and we had a good time. Anyway, here's the published author. She's up last.
Okay, this one's called Just for Today. We head into the mountains before dawn. Me shotgun and daddy's boy just for today. Allowed to use the hatchet as wood chips fly like bees off saw teeth. Alder trees drop echoes through the forest. We share donuts on the tailgate. I sip from a green thermos cup. Real coffee, not cocoa. Later at home, we will split and stack the sweet damp logs. I'll show off my new muscles, take off my blue knit cap, let my hair fly in the breeze. Hope I'll never be tempted to settle for anything less than this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for listening to us. That's awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Just great.
Thank you, Brad and Gina. And now we're going to hand things over to Morgan to introduce our next open mic readers.
Hi, everybody. Wow, Brad and Gina, I'm just enamored. I am enamored. I can't wait to read more of what you brought tonight. So thank you so much for bringing so much love, and also, yeah, just some real shit in there as well. I love that concept of the numbers. You know, no one wants to be given a number when they've been given a name, you know, so beautiful. Just thank you. I don't even know how I really follow that up here right now, so I just would like to listen. But yes, I've got 4 very powerful women here to introduce tonight, but I'm going to start out with one of my own pieces that I wrote just recently, just last week. It's just about 3 minutes, so it's a little longer, but I don't think I've read my own stuff in the last month or 2, so here goes. It is untitled. And now the woman's warmed up. Mushrooms in her cup, the brim has touched its rounded copper finish. We are distinguished, thickish, somewhat greenish, refinished, Lilith, high linguists. Yes, we are optimistic witches. We howl into drums. Some rung loud, some shout proud, overcome now. Tongue tuned to fall equinox. We are in the backwoods, bandwidth sapwood, stars amidst dramatics, meteors panoramic. We are grammatically taking notes. We write, we choke, we post up on the rocks, give more fucks for the folly, for the luck, for the flames burning our smut, our jokes, our spokes of life on a wild ride. And I'm done taking sides. I want to meet you in the middle, near the river's temporary ripple. It's a topological terrain of psychological behavior. It's nature too, it's simple. Thoughts are unmerciful, and in their tidal waves we meddle. Title them fateful, hateful, head full of sinful whistles. But thistles grow flowers too, and those that want a rose must respect what its thorns do. Prick. Wakeful hours, grateful lovers swivel from the thistle to the soft petal of the sexual perennial, vine together like annuals, florets from spikes of frightening jumps from the psyche to solid ground, from the junk to the banging loud. We are subspecies of chanting canines. Our packs work as one. To confront the sunk brunt of ego, our credo rises, comprising not of polarized accessory. And our lungs bark an honest family. Our jowls wide open now among the potent oaks. Invoke a new slogan. Speak to trees often, softly without a word. Hear the blackbirds too and their verbs, asserted to sit, met with cedar wood lips, its exhale licks its grip on presence. I'm so almost there, you guys. This interdependence has a tendency to teach acceptance, an essential weapon through an entrance to an environmental cadence of the one true existence, a fragrance hanging now of an aura, an aromatic ambrosial memory. Are you with me? It's spicy, sweet, and savory. This bouquet of thicket, of timber, of bare grove, of mycelium ground cover, we've arrived again at the end of the beginning, cup full to the brim and overflowing. This pitch of human keeps kindling to prime the drive to live, to thrive on moments, lit as lumens, wild as wolf, free as woman.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Woo! I clearly needed to get that.
gorgeous. Oh,
Okay. Do you know Bernie Taupin and Elton John yet? I mean,
Yeah, Elton John. I mean, yes.
yeah, you need to like start doing song lyrics for like fucking Elton John, right?
Oh, stop.
That's awesome. That was awesome.
I will take that, and that is like one of the highest compliments I could have ever received.
If Bernie Taupin can do it, you can do it, man. You got it nailed.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thanks for listening. And
It's awesome stuff.
thanks for witnessing. And I think like, yeah, it's a chaotic world. And I sat down to write, and that's what came out after a bunch of bullshit that was really just bullshit. This came out. So it was needed to be seen in. So I would love to introduce our next, yes, like I said, we have 4 fierce females. So there is your intro, Joanne Boswell, and then we've got Moira and Roxanne on deck and Eileen Elliott to finish off. So Joanne Boswell, love to hear from you.
Thank you. That was fantastic. So good. Sorry it's so dark, but as you'll see in my poem, I've been having migraines for about a week, so I'm trying to avoid bright lights, and those of you who get migraines understand that. So I get migraines with auras, which if you don't know what that is, it's like you see these lights. It's like if you stare at the sun for too long, except it just kind of comes at random, and it'll hang out for like 30 minutes or longer if you're really lucky. So anyways, I've had a cluster of them lately. So I wrote this poem last weekend. It's called Sucks. Sucks. I woke to a black hole on my right temple, sucking me in one atom at a time. Can one apply pressure to the absence of matter without getting slurped into self-infinity? Like a loop of me, my arm circled through my brain and back around, becoming still my always right arm. Medicating this natural wonder, this cosmic pain, this oral migraine dulls my sensors. But I know she's still there, swirling underneath peppermint oil, blood thinners, and CBD gummies, holed up, waiting for a break in the storm. And we will rise, for she is me, and together we will make the kids breakfast, then teach math and science. We'll experiment on each other, learn what wipes the other out. Our frenemy ship might be a white dwarf triggered into a runaway nuclear fusion. Supernova or not, we're back at the beginning again. Too much matter has been squeezed. There's no light, and you'll never see my spaghettification. Thank you. I saw people throwing in tips, and I'll take them all. Of course, I'm trying lots of stuff, but thank you.
You'll never see my spaghettification. That is beautiful. Thank you.
That's what black holes do.
Thank you so much, Joanne, and I do hope that you find relief from that. Now, I won't say this just because Chris was wearing his high-end marketplace mask, but cannabis works well, and I'm sure you've tried that, and you're trying some other things. But yeah, that sounds intense, and I really wish you relief. I do, and even though Chris is being a ham right now, we're all wishing you well, and like just to be, your best and be able to offer your good nurturing care to all that you come across. So yes, thank you. Thanks for being here too. And I hope the book sales have been great. I hope people are picking your Cosmic Pockets up. Next, I'd like to introduce Moira McAuliffe, and I hope I said your name, last name correctly, Moira. Are you still with us here? I'm not seeing her.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thanks, yes. Well, look, thank you so much for letting me be part of this great gathering. The poem I'm going to read tonight is one of 25 poems, a sequence of 25 poems on the death of Ursula Le Guin. And this one is poem number 13. Let me see. Sometimes I write on the backs of old pay stubs, each one half a month of my life. I think of you married then, pregnant then with a child, and wonder how in the great silence of the rounded rooms of your house you could grasp the threads of space, weave time, how there could be a life given, not having to be rented out, half stolen back, stunted at every turn. The time it takes to make a world, windows, rain, commute, mountains, light, sea, the creatures in their boxes talking, the precise tones of the birds in the morning, so like bellbirds, so unlike. The time it takes to go and return from that place, the journey repeated, so often the door lies open, so often the wall dissolves, so often that place is real and surprising. And the writing, controlling and refining, writes itself through you, so that the writing and the written, the perceiver and the perceived are one thing, the gold in the fire in the dark. That is what is forbidden to us by the lack of time. That is what is forbidden all of us, the readers of other people's worlds by drudgery, the sink and the sinkhole. Prices rise until only the secure middle class of the past could have done this, until only the 1% can do this, until we're reduced to being grateful for this vast historic theft, for the occasional gifted aristocrat.
Wow.
Very powerful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for joining us, Moira, and for that last line. Can you say that? The occasional, that was just...
The occasional gifted aristocrat.
The occasional gifted aristocrat. Wow. I mean, just the whole...
I was thinking of Tolstoy, but you know, do it.
Thank you. Thanks so much for bringing that beautiful piece to share. And we hope that you join us again, as we'll likely be meeting for for as long as we need to. We'll still continue to meet because it is nourishing to our souls. So join us next month as well.
And there is an actual book containing all of the poems.
Yes, and actually I think Christopher just put a link right in the chat. So there's a link right there. So please, yes, I can't wait actually to check that out, and also to check out Gina's book. I absolutely will pick up a copy of that too. It's just some beautiful works being shared, and please support. A good friend of mine, Igor Brezhnev, likes to say, support the living poets because the dead ones don't need it. So we support.
Yeah, that's about right.
Because the dead ones don't need it. I think Igor's listening tonight, but we're so happy that he's here and he's giving us a thumbs up right now. So yes, next I would love to introduce our great friend Roxanne Bash. Hello, Roxanne.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. My internet connection's been going spotty, so hopefully I'll make it through this whole thing and you can hear it all. I don't have a title for it, just wrote it today, so thank you for letting me put it out into the air. Here goes. Is this tightness I feel across my chest from the smoky aftermath of raging fires all around me? Or could it be COVID-19 that's slipping through 20, reaching for 21, with a fist intent on squeezing the air from my lungs? Or maybe it's the anxiety of a mailbox moved out of my reach while bombs burst in midair, giving proof through the night that our flag is still there, though the meaning of the stars and stripes has been lost to a king with an orange crown who tells us blackness is really blue. And tomorrow it will be red in his wake. I suspect all of the above as I draw another breath, secure my mask, and reach for the ballot box with the hope that democracy has not died in the past 4 years of darkness.
Wow.
Yeah, Roxanne.
Amazing.
Wow, yes. I mean, here's for hope, okay? Like, yes, from the ashes, we understand what can rise and bloom, right? We understand the lotus comes from mud. So I think we're done trekking through it now. You know what I mean? Regardless of anything. I mean, to write poetry through the last 4 years, we all know we've gotten all probably discouraged and overly excited and maybe a little aggressive and maybe a little bit scared and maybe a little bit just all of the emotions. And we're ready for change. We're ready for change. So it will happen. Change is a constant. So yes, I think finishing us out, unless Christopher has anyone else that would like to read. I know we have a lot of those, a lot of listeners tonight. So if anyone would like to add a poem, please feel free to do that after our next guest here, which is Eileen Elliott. Welcome, Eileen.
Thank you. This is basically a dream poem, and it's called Sleeping on the Edge of the Forest. In all likelihood, I am a time traveler. I wake up some mornings, my mouth filled with dust. In my night travels, I have been on far-ranging rides, rough journeys in forsaken territories, strings of cast-off clothing and broken bottles, lining pathways of little definition. These places I do not recognize, and there are no markings, no decimated signs or old maps flapping in the fitful breeze. I see no others in this scene of isolation. No birds lift off, escaping from this station. Breeze seems a fantasy, a memory. And then there is a flap, 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 a dull and indistinct echo. One sound, and only one, reverberating on my skin. I sense the sound, the physical reaction, just once. The rest is likely memory. And there is no recognition in my mind, no memory of that action and reaction, that physical change that makes me sound to the earth. That keeps me here as long as I choose to be. And then, at the rise of starlight, I lift off, renewed.
Thank you, Eileen. That was a beautiful way, possibly to end our night. We may have one or two, but that last line too. Wow. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us too. It's good to see you.
Yeah,
and I'll pass it over to Chris here.
Yeah, I didn't see any takers. Maybe if there, and what we're talking about here is if you're here to listen and you changed your mind, you'd like to throw one in there, we would love to give you an opportunity. I think that's great, Morgan, and in keeping with the spirit of the thing. I was going to read something to close things out. So this is the real last call. Is there anybody out there who has been listening you'd like to throw one in before we wrap things up? It's your last chance to speak up about that. Okay.
And we appreciate everybody tuning in, even if you're not reading, because it's great to just feel connected. So thank you for being here, regardless if you read. So.
And thanks for showing up every month, everybody. We really do appreciate it. Thank you to Morgan too, and Chris. I really love being a part of the team.
Thanks, Toni. And I am going to thank everyone after I read my poem, but let's thank everyone before and after I read my poem. Thanks to Brad and Gina and everyone who is here and everyone who is here to listen. Yeah, I really feel like even on the Zoom meetings, everybody that's with us is contributing their energy to what's happening. So I appreciate all the readers, but I certainly appreciate all the listeners too. And I think all the poets that are here know that, you know, we've done our share of readings to one or two people, you know, and so it's great to have an audience, you know. I'm happy that we have an audience for Ghost Town. Yeah, and the poem that I want to share with you to close things off is pretty quick, and we'll yeah, cheer and scream and hopefully say thank you to everybody. So this is my most recent one. It begins with a line from my son. So I'm sharing my screen with you here. It occurred to me while we were going through the reading that we could invite people to do this. It's really just a matter of the host, who's me, you know, giving permission to other people to do that. So we'll see what we can do for next time if people want to try to do this. So this is the entirety of the poem. I hope everyone can see it. Anyway, there's some quoted material in here. The first line was something that I heard my son say, and the rest of the things that you see in quotations were things that Carlos Santana said during this performance that I was watching. Invitation to Illumination, Carlos Santana and John McLaughlin, live at Montreux 2011. It's called the spirit molecule, the energy at the core of Corazon's desire, beaming stream of white-hot spirit coursing through us. Close your eyes and listen to its pulse. You're too young to sit down. Shake off the molasses and find the serpent's shimmy, basking in its delicious madness. Shaman, she will deliver thee from regret and disharmony. Walk the path that gods have traversed before. Make a conscious choice to make every day the best day of your life. He looks at her with deep affection, wonder, and appreciation, marvels over her with the same love, devotion, surrender which comes over me whenever I gaze upon you, my queen. Carlos Santana and John McLaughlin, check it out.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Thank you.
So lots of people here that you've heard from have books. We tried to put links into the chat. I really want to say a big thank you, and those of you that are willing and able to do it, let's give Brad and Gina another round of applause for a great feature. I really appreciate that.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
We're
thank
so
you so much for having us part of
This
this.
is our first Zoom
That's
event, and
awesome.
we really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
Good. Good. You're welcome. And I nearly forgot that Gina and I will be reading together, not on Zoom, on Crowdcast for Annie Blooms on Monday night.
Annie Blooms.
And we'll be reading with Dan Raphael, who I know that people in this community are familiar with.
Dan's great.
So I didn't have the link ready to go, but please go to Annie Blooms, go to Facebook, and it's Monday night at 7 o'clock. Me and Gina and Dan, and I'm really excited. And thank you, Gina, for inviting me to be a part of that. I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna be a fun night.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here, and we will see you on the second Thursday of October. Thanks for your beautiful poems, and thanks to Toni and Morgan and everybody who participated tonight.
Thank you, Christopher, and I hope you had a great birthday week too.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We enjoyed it. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Thanks,
Stay
Chris.
safe.
Good night.
Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye, Joanne. Good luck with the migraine too.
Thank you. I haven't had one today, so I'm
okay.
My fingers.
Yeah, feel better, Joanne. I'm sorry to hear about that.
My doctor just told me I was underdosing myself. So I said, okay, I'll take more.
Yeah,
wow.
Dose away. Yeah, don't be shy. Make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye,
Thanks,
Toni. Bye, Chris. I'm glad you got the package. I know it was just a little gift, but I can't believe they wouldn't let me send a lighter in the mail.
Yeah,
So
I didn't look at everything that's in there, but thank you for it all. And I will definitely be talking to you about it more when I have a chance to look at everything. But that mask is very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, we just were like, you know, it might as well. Who knows how long this shit's going to be around. And it's just like, you might as well. Like, I've actually been seeing people at the store and like they're wearing Fairwinds masks and other brand. I'm like, hey, I know you. Like, well, you're my people, you know? So it's like, but anyway, just wanted to say hi and good night. And Toni.